Hey everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So today, I want to talk a little bit about transference of consciousness, transmission of consciousness, um, in the way that you being able to pretty much like transfer your consciousness, your awareness to another person or to another animal or maybe to another living being, or in like science or technology terms, it's like whenever people they transfer their brains along with their consciousness, or it could just be their consciousness. But I wanted to talk a little bit on this today just because I don't know, I just felt like talking about this topic. So let's get right into it. Today's video is transference of consciousness. Now, it's a beautiful morning, by the way. I'm sitting up under this tree. So, transference of consciousness. There's like a natural way of doing this, and then there is obviously a more scientific, technological way of doing this. There's these two ways. Well, there's probably many different ways to go about doing this, but there's like a natural way to do this without technologies, without devices, and then there's a way to do this with scientific technologies and devices. Um, in many different I've had many different experiences where I've actually been able to transfer my consciousness into another person or even another living being. I've done it on multiple occasions to animals, to dogs. This started pretty much about, I want to say like a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago. I was starting to realize that with a little bit of awareness, inner awareness of my inner experience, I was actually able to realize that I was able to experience from another living being's perspective, like being able to experience from a dog's perspective or from a cat's perspective or from another person's perspective, literally like if you are them, because you literally are them. Okay, we're one and the same. Nobody is separate from each other, and it's like we're all one consciousness. This is the truth of it. It's just so that during this specific time and space that we're in, we've become fragmentized. We've become fragmented in consciousness, meaning our consciousness is no longer seeing itself as one consciousness, though it's seeing itself as fragmentized. It's fragmented itself into tiny little pieces all throughout the universe, and each and every little piece sees itself as a part of one whole, but it's all just one whole, you know. And we're all one consciousness, you know. So it's like whenever I want to say meditation helps a lot with this ability, but everybody has this ability, right? It's like the same thing as a ghost being able to take over a person's body, you know. It's like, I was thinking of Danny Phantom, you know, the Nickelodeon show. Danny Phantom, he's able to turn into a ghost, and then he's able to pretty much go into other people's bodies, and then he experiences from that other person's body. This is along the ability of being able to transfer your consciousness into any other creature or any other living being, and being able to experience from their experience, you know. I've done this on multiple occasions with my family. Done this on multiple occasions with many different animals. I don't know if I've ever done it with a tree or like with plants, because they don't experience in the same exact way as an animal or a person does. So it's a little bit harder to understand exactly how you're transferring your consciousness into a plant, you know, but I'm sure it's possible. I don't know how to explain that yet. But you can obviously do this. There's also yogis who have talked about being able to transfer their consciousness into other living beings, you know, because we're all one and the same. And yoga, it actually makes way for coming into union with the universe. So if you align yourself to come into union with the universe, you become the universe, and then you see yourself no different from any other person, and then it allows you to easily bring in such an ability to transfer your consciousness into another person. Now, this comes with things like controlling. You know, Danny Phantom, he can pretty much enter another person's body, and then he can start experiencing from that person, and then he can also control them, you know. But you don't have to control another person, or you don't have to control another animal when you're in this state. In fact, it's more so that, like, before you're able to ever take up such an ability of manipulating another person's body, you need to simply just be able to transmit your consciousness into another person before you're able to go and do that type of thing, you know. So it's like you have to start simple first. You just have to be able to transmit your consciousness into another person, or just conjoin with their consciousness and experience from that person's perspective, you know. It's kind of like a dream type of thing, you know. It's very dreamlike. That's why it's a type of lucidity. You being able to do this, it's like I want to say it's an inner envisionment, you know. It's not something that you actually do physically. It's on a whole different dimensional level. It's on a whole mental level, because you do this inwards. You do this inwardly. Like when you dream, you go to a completely different dimension. You go to different spaces. You go to different times. You can go back to Egypt. You can go back to Babylon. You can go to the future. It's just so that you're mostly unaware. You're not lucid during dreams, so it makes it hard to clarently, or it makes it hard to understand where you are within time and space, or what dimension you're in clarity, you know. So it's one of these things. It's like a hypnagogic type of ability or state. It's being in between sleep and wakefulness, you know. It's that state of meditativeness that actually allows you to be able to do this. And you can do this naturally. Once again, I've done this a lot. But they're starting to they're not starting to do this throughout society. Technologically, they've been able to do this for probably, I want to say, at least 50 to 100 years, probably more. I'm sure more, you know, because Atlantis had all these types of technologies that were able to do this. But within our lifetimes, they're starting to do this, you know, within societies. They're starting to transfer people's consciousness between each other. They're taking two people and they're pretty much switching their consciousness, you know, with technologies. Now you can do this with technologies, but you can also do this naturally, you know, just by being within spiritual practice, or within a meditative state, okay, or just being at union with the universe, and eventually you'll start to play with your consciousness and you'll find yourself doing this type of thing, okay. And it's not limited to like anything really. You can transfer your consciousness to any living being. um, I've had an experience where I've done this to an octopus, you know, just like a random octopus that I was able to ethereally travel to, and then experience from that octopus's experience. Is very, very phenomenal. I think I've also done this to like a chameleon as well, and then I've done this to people easily. I've done this to dogs multiple occasions. I've done this to cats, uh, and a few more. But it's hard to remember because you're in this state of like it's like a dreamlike state, you know. But you got to be aware during that dreamlike state. You can't let it go darkened. You can't let it go unconscious. Otherwise, you won't be able to remember the experience of being able to do that thing, you know, or being able to have this ability. But we all have this ability. This is something we all have, okay, whether you are conscious of it or not, whether you're conscious or unconscious of it, you all do this, okay. Most people do it in their dreams, but people do this during the day as well. It's just a little bit harder to do it during the day because your etheric body or your astral body, it snaps to the body, to the physical body. It's tethered to the physical body during the daytime, so you won't find yourself really entering into other people's bodies to experience from their experience, you know. It more so happens during the night after you go to sleep. After you go to sleep, you'll find yourself doing this to everything, you know. But they're doing this with technologies now, you know. They're doing this with technologies. They're transferring people's consciousness via technology, like hardware technologies. And there's going to be after the technological revolution, or after the digital revolution, there's going to be a rise in these types of technology, where people are able to transfer their consciousness into other people, or have them switch, you know. And then there's also things like switching your brain, which I don't know if it actually includes a switch of the awareness itself. I'm sure it probably does. There's also things like transferring your consciousness into little memory devices, or even little chips, you know. There's transferring your consciousness into the internet as well via virtual realities. All of this is coming with the technological revolution, right? But this is all something that we have been able to already do, you know, whenever we're entering into higher dimensions, mainly during our dreams. What we're doing is transferring our consciousness, transmitting our consciousness into a completely different realm, or world, or dimension, okay. Now what they're doing, they're just like they're integrating it technologically, so that we're able to do this just with technology, you know, during the day. I mean, if you're meditative, you can already do this during the day. It doesn't limit you to the cycles, you know, which most people do this during the night when they go to sleep. They travel to various parallels. They travel to perpendiculars. They travel to alternative realities. They travel to higher, lower dimensions, travel to different space-time continuums, you know. But what they're going to do is they're going to allow this with technology so that everybody can be able to do this most of the time, all throughout the day or all throughout the night, you know, even if you're awake. Okay, so when they start doing that type of thing, it's like, okay, they're going to start also transmitting consciousness into capsule devices, right? So that they can hold these hard drives that are just filled with consciousness, you know, which is just like an encoding. Okay, and once they are filling these hard drives with multiple different encodings of consciousness, they're going to be able to use these hard drives to power, I want to say, like, power themselves, you know, because the people who are doing this are not human. They're more transhuman. They're already transcendent of what humanity is, you know. So it's like, um, what they are doing is they are pretty much encapsulating as much people as they can. They're encapsulating people's souls. Okay, they're able to transmit people's consciousness into hard drives, which will literally be like little USB drives or just microchips, right? And then the encoding of that is going to be able to power spiritual technologies, you know, which they'll use to continue entrapping people with things like reincarnation systems and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to go over the transference of consciousness as an ability naturally, and then them bringing it in with the technological revolution and the integration of higher technologies, you know, like virtual reality, not only virtual reality, but many different types of newer technologies, you know, kind of like robots aren't new, but the androids that they're coming out with, see, what they can do is they can actually transmit a biological person's consciousness into a android, and then it will have literally a biological consciousness, you know, but it would be an android. See, that's the type of stuff that they want to do, and it's gonna get very it's gonna get very taboo, you know, like an Aquarian taboo, Aquarius taboo. So like a taboo in Aquarian like fashion, you know, or areas of life. But yeah, it's gonna get very, very deep, you know, with this type of stuff, with transference of consciousness. We're gonna, as a species, we're gonna go deeply into this the more we progress, because consciousness, it's like, it's all that there really is, because without it there is no experience, or there's no existence. um, that's the truth. Okay, because if you're unconscious, you can't really experience anything, just as though when you go to sleep, or whenever you, yeah, when you go to sleep, you can have dreams, right? And you're only having dreams because you're conscious of them. If you're unconscious, then you just kind of wake up in the morning, and after going to sleep, you don't really experience anything but just like a blackness or a void, you know. So it's like consciousness is what actually allows you to be able to experience, and without it, you would just pretty much skip through time, you know, because you would not be experiencing at all. You wouldn't be in a space, you wouldn't be in a time, you would just be in like a void. But that's all I really want to talk about. The sun is beautiful. It's very, very beautiful outside in nature right now. But yeah, once again, that's all I really want to talk about. Transference of consciousness as an ability. naturally being able to do this. Everybody has this ability. If you want to strengthen and refine or cultivate this ability, you would obviously do something that would bring you into your spiritual nature. Or you can do things like lucid dreaming. This can actually allow you to do this as well. And then obviously technologically being able to integrate the transference of consciousness as an ability with the technological revolution as well. And then transmission of consciousness into hard drives and robots or androids. You can even do it with the phone as well, by the way. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. So I do thank everybody for watching, and I hope you did enjoy the video today. Subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Drop a like on the video as well, and one love. Peace out. Have a great morning.